Hi everyone, welcome to May. It feels so different to April. Let's look at some of the games and things that are going to be coming up in April, I hope. So first off, I won't go on about it like last time because it's not news anymore, is it? There's going to be live things. I'm trying something out. I'm trying buttons and stuff. Will this get me to where I want to go? Here we go. So what's coming up this week? You can see I post it every Monday on social medias, Patreon, the YouTube community tab, if by random chance it happens to show you that at the point that you're on there. Yeah, you can see all the stuff that I'm doing, and I am doing Makata tomorrow, Cloudspire on Thursday, Venice on Friday, and then Taverns of Tiefenthal will go live on Saturday, although that's live now for Patreons. Speaking of Patreon, it's how all of the videos happen. You can sign up there, you get benefits, you get to vote on videos. Look, the monthly playthrough vote starts on Tuesday, it says right there. That's kind of what this video is in aid of. It's going to list the choices and stuff. But yeah, all sorts of other things, and mainly you keep me making stuff. So yeah, live again tomorrow. Looking forward to having you join me if you can make it. So first up in the monthly playthrough votes, and I think I'll just say ahead of time that, as always, try and film as many as I can out of the votes. It's not just the winner that gets picked. And I'm thinking of trying maybe have this be it's full recorded playthroughs anyway, not the live ones. Although, you know, things that get a lot of attention, but maybe not quite to the top of the list. Think about, maybe I'll do a live playthrough of those. But I'm thinking of doing like a separate vote, maybe in the middle of the month or something for the live ones. And thinking that, you know, mainly the live ones happen to be solo, and Little Glass Marty needs his days in the sun. So maybe the recorded ones will be 2-player and the live ones will be solo. It's not going to be, you know, completely, it's not going to be enforced that strictly. But I'm thinking that kind of thing. So, first up, the Rival Networks, which is a new 2-player implementation of the networks. Fantastic game from 2016 I love. It's one of the first videos I ever did. Reminiscing a lot. It was the anniversary last week. Yeah, I absolutely love the networks. Run a TV station, get loads of new shows, get stars to them, get ads to fund them, try and get the most viewers. The Rival Networks change this to a more head-to-head thing, as you would imagine. We're on either side of this time slot board, and we are, as you can imagine, directly competing for viewers in these time slots. There are rewards at the end of each year that will give you extra viewers depending on if you win a certain time slot or you have a certain combination of shows in your lineup, loads of different things. And one thing that I really like, kind of component-wise, if this will come up by clicking on the links here. This is, I think, a tabletop simulator rendering of it, but you can see over on the left-hand side there, you actually get these piggy banks to put your viewers in. Your viewers are all of these chips, and you pop them in your cardboard viewer container, cardboard piggy bank essentially, and it's all like secret scoring, and you get to pull them all out at the end and see how well you did. Obviously, the game itself is separate to that, but I really like that nice little component touch. Will the button work this time? Yes! Bullet is a new game from Level 99 Games, who do Millennium Blades, who do loads of things, Pixel Tactics, Argent the Consortium and stuff. Mainly Millennium Blades and Imperial are the ones that I am particularly into, but even the ones that may be a bit too mean for me. I think that Level 99 do kind of out there, ambitious, different kinds of things, and Bullet definitely fits in that. This seems to be a puzzle game that models itself after a kind of bullet hell video game. And that's basically all I needed to know. Had to get my hands on it. I haven't actually got it yet. I am sneakily just putting it in here, hoping that it's going to arrive very soon. But yeah, Bullet. Really excited to play that. Sleeping Gods is the latest game from Ryan Lockett, who's done, you know, Above and Below, Near and Far, loads of games at this point, all set in this beautiful world that's, you know, you can see from here, Ryan is the designer and the artist. And this one here, they've always had, for the last few anyway, have had, you know, a storybook element to it. But from what I hear, you know, it's when the Kickstarter delivered and everyone was getting their copies, it seemed to just be Sleeping Gods mania. People were absolutely loving it, declaring it their game of the year and stuff. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they found out in there. It's not here yet, but it will be, hopefully, as long as Parcel Force don't want it. And yeah, we'll be digging into it. Kind of tentative about putting this on there because, if it's a great big campaign game and Rach likely will want to play it, how easily can I do playthrough stuff on the side? Should this be some great big ongoing thing as well? So we'll see. If something comes up and it's tied up in our great big campaign, it'll just have to get put into another month, and a lower down choice will get given. But would you like to see it, though? Is what I want to know from this. Sleeping Gods. Next up is Burgle Brothers 2, The Casino Capers. So Burgle Brothers 1 is from before I had the channel, I think. Anyway, it's never had a playthrough, but it's a fantastic co-op game about your burglars. Basically, it's a heist. You are going around trying to evade these security guards, trying to get past all of the various security measures, and trying to get the big score. Burgle Brothers 2 seems to be kind of expanding on the ambition of original Burgle Brothers. I remember that it had a kind of extra Kickstarter level, or you could buy this accessory separate that was like this wooden thing that showed you the tiers of the building you were breaking into. Here it's a casino, and the box itself, so I don't know if I can show you like the way the actual box works. It seems to be like some big fold out box, like you can see it there, and it comes with legs in it, and seems to actually be making this this two-tiered thing. But from what I've heard, it's kind of taken what was great about Burgle Brothers, expanded it, refined it, and seems to be a really good system. And something from Tim Farrow's is always worth checking out. Really excited for that. See, I wasn't as snappy about the first one. I think I'm getting the right speed of it. The West Kingdom Tomesaga. So this, I have been kind of gradually, finally coming late to the West Kingdom series, and really, really enjoying it, mainly solo. And then I found out that the Tomesaga expansion, as there's a similar expansion, I think, for the North Sea trilogy, that I haven't really played very much of. But this ties the games together, so you can either play the games in one great big campaign, and the winners of each game gets like a benefit to carry on into the next game, and you see who can win the entire trilogy. Or you can play all of the games cooperatively now, which is especially exciting. Like, I'd love Paladins. I only played that solo. Viscounts, we played 2-player as well, and I think Rach enjoyed it. And it's a few months ago now, not because I couldn't gauge a reaction. But Architects, I know that people will disagree on me on this, but while it's a fundamental thing, and I think it's a really cool system, the taking each other's meeples prisoner and stuff, not really into that. But the fact that we can now do it against some kind of overseer character, I haven't played these yet, but that's what I'd kind of be. Maybe this is ambitious to just put in a vote as one item, but would you like to see a kind of a West Kingdom trilogy playing through the cooperative versions? Maybe the competitive campaign versions instead. If you vote for this, let me know which one you would like to see, because I would love to dive in if you'd like to see some more West Kingdom. And at some point, there will probably be live ones. I've already done Viscounts, and if spoilers in case you didn't see it yet, I got absolutely destroyed by the AI. I at some point would love to do, I think if I can fit like 3 in a week, I'd love to do like a big West Kingdom trilogy stream over a few days. Let's see how that goes though. So Tomesaga, would you like to see the whole shebang? Oh, and also I've got the Age of Artisans expansion for Architects, which I haven't played with yet, but I assume it's compatible with Tomesaga and all that stuff. So yeah, that will be shown off as well. Next up is Cryo, I believe the second outing of Luke Laurie and Tom Jolly, who designed Manhattan Project Energy Empire together. Is it 2016? One of the best games of 2016. It's an absolutely fantastic worker placement game. I have to say, just as an aside, I'm sorry, Tom Jolly. I think I've gone on years and years of all mentions of Energy Empire on this channel, at least, just crediting Luke. And so, yeah, Tom Jolly. Credit him as well now. Cryo is quite a different kind of game. A very, very tight worker placement game where everything seems scarce. Our ship has crash landed. There are bits of it strewn about that we can still visit to do actions. Our crew are in stasis and we need to rescue them out there. But factions have formed and we want to try and be the person to rescue the most people and get them underground to safety. And you can upgrade your player boards. So every time you bring your workers back, you can get some things for free, trade some things For other things, you need to get vehicles to get your people back. You can get upgrades that can be quite powerful as well. And I believe that it may still be in testing, but there is a solo variant, on the horizon. So maybe this should be solo as well. But yeah, definitely works 2 players. Would you like to see Cryo? Next up is Excavation Earth from David Tortzi and Yi and Gordon Kaleha, designer of Post-Human Saga and I can't think of it. Vengeance. Played it last week. But this is another very successful Mighty Boards Kickstarter from these people teaming up now. And this is, it's not going to let me scroll, is it? This is a game of finding these artifacts and trying to sell them in a market, but it promises to be a very interactive game. In that, not so much. I don't feel like it's from looking that it's a take that kind of game. David doesn't really design those, but the interaction is driven by these very tense markets that what you have collected might not be worth very much by the time you get to sell them. So it's all about the timing of when you bring these things in. And it's got a solo mode. It looks beautiful as well. It's got a solo mode by David and Nick Shaw, who have worked on a lot of solo implementations together, but also designed Roam and Roll together, which is absolutely fantastic too. So it's another one where I'm kind of like, I'll do that one solo. But let me know, comment on things. So Umbra Via is the latest game from Pandasaurus, and this is another gorgeous game. You see the components here about building up patterns out of our pieces, but it's all done through a secret bidding mechanism to get to see where you place them on these tiles. Okay, for next time, have a button that lets you go back on the browser. So yeah, you are forming paths out of these tiles as well, and when they're cut off, you score the majorities that people have ended up with on that path as well. Next up is CloudAge from Alexander Pfister, Great Western Trail, Maracaibo, loads and loads of acclaimed games, teaming up with Arno Steinwender, and this game, I have to admit, it arrived today. I haven't played it yet. It's kind of my excitement and kicking myself over waiting so long on Maracaibo. Finally got it after being told to by you, by many comments and messages and things. And I agree, I definitely missed out on Maracaibo. Really, really enjoy it now, though. Did I do the same thing with CloudAge? I don't remember. Well, 2020 is a bit of a muddled mist, isn't it? But yes, I missed out on CloudAge as well. I heard that it's a bit of a different thing, maybe not what people might be expecting from an Alexander Pfister game, but that's pretty much all I know. Apart from, it's also got, as a lot of Alexander's games have had, it's got a campaign story system that introduces gameplay elements as they go along. So it could be, it supports solo as well. Maybe this should be a big ongoing thing. I thought about doing that with Maracaibo as well, but I don't know. Would you like to see that? Or should we do a big 2-player playthrough with Little Glass Marty on CloudAge? Next is 7 Bridges. I've gone on a million times, I think, talking about roll and write games. I absolutely love the core mechanism of them and how differently games take it, especially as we get these bigger games like Roam and Roll, and I haven't played it yet, but hopefully it will be coming at some point soon. Hadrian's Wall, taking roll and write in a kind of medium Euro direction. This is a stroll and write game where the dice are building paths, having a nice stroll through this town. We draft dice to form roads on our map. Do you select the one that lets you travel furthest or in the right direction? I'm really looking forward to this. There's some more roll and writes in a minute as well. It's kind of roll and write mid-month, I think. For smaller games, I know that the big Euro ones get the most votes and the most excitement. I see that I'm kind of like that as well. But so too, I love digging into all of these different roll and writes and filler games in general too. Next up is Funfair. This is a theme park themed game. We're trying to build up our own Alton Towers by starting off with just a humble gate, getting attractions, getting upgrades to them, getting staff, trying to satisfy blueprints, end game goals, trying to put as many different cards on the same ride as possible for a load of points. It's a re-implementation, or new game in the series at least, of Funfair, which came out several years ago. That I was excited for. If you heard me drone on in the Dice theme park video about, I really love theme parks, and especially as well as visiting only a few, I think, real life ones. The video game too has definitely been a big influence, and I was excited for Funfair, but you've heard me droning on in loads of videos as well about how much I don't like Take That in any games, or really any kind of direct negative interaction between players. Yeah, I kind of knew going in that Funfair wouldn't have been for me, so I've never played it. But Funfair makes a lighter experience, and it has none of that whatsoever. None of the messing with each other. So would you like to see some happy-go-lucky Funfair creation? Next up is some rolling rights. Hashi. This is from Jeffrey D. Allers, and this is based on a type of logic puzzle which I haven't heard of, but I'm very intrigued by after playing this game. We have these island boards. I'll just show you a picture of the actual islands themselves. We have these island boards here, and from this we draw a card every time. So there's a couple of cards that aren't going to come out every game, but we have cards that depict a number and some bridges, and you can write a number in any island that hasn't got a flag on it. And you can draw that many bridges. They have to come from an island with a number on it. You can only put numbers into the islands with flags on once you've linked to them by bridges. But the extra thing that comes out of this is you complete islands by having the number of bridges linking to them as the number. So if you write the number 6 in there, you better hope you've got enough connections, because you can have 2 bridges on each line. So it quickly becomes apparent how much you've fenced yourself in this. You want to also be the first to do 6 islands, I think. First to complete 6 islands. First to complete all of your islands with each of the 2 coloured flags in it as well. And you get points for every island you manage to complete, as well as the race elements. So it's definitely one where you start to see towards the end, oh no, I can't put anything here. And not only is it the bridges that are restricting where you can write these numbers, it's where you've just, a 6 came out early and you just put it somewhere, and now you realise, how am I going to get the bridges here? How am I going to be able to link all of these things up now? Because you can't cross paths on to the islands. So putting a bridge down often means that you have stopped yourself putting one down somewhere else as well. So you've got to try not to fence yourself in. That's Hashi. And then everything on one card from filler maestro Stefan Bendorf, who has designed such things as Quicks and Quinto, fantastic roll and write games. Quinto, one of my favourites still. And also, among many things, I think he's got about 30 credits on his BGG page. I need to play some more. Also, The Game, which I think is one of the best cooperative filler games, just full stop. It's absolutely fantastic. It's amazing what a fantastic system you can have from just basically a deck of numbered cards 2 to 98. Now, I did a video for the 2-player version of the game. Check that out if you like. It's kind of hard to search for. It's called The Game. Anyway, everything on one card. We have coloured dice, coloured dots on dice. We have a few cards in front of us. They depict colours. They have colour strips on them, but have different number of spaces to fill in. I'll show you a card here. I'm in the way. Get out of the way of the card. So you need to basically, when you take the dice, there is an active player that basically chooses whether to re-roll or not, and then everyone gets to choose the dice that have been rolled. From that, you can use a colour if you can use everything of that colour. So if you've rolled 3 yellows and you've only got 2 spaces left on your yellow line, you can't do yellow at all. You can do the other colours though, and as the name of the game might suggest, you have to do everything on one card. Trying to go back on the browser. Again, I need to put a button that lets me do that from here, or get a longer cable for the mouse. So yeah, it's another one where your choice of card matters. There's an advanced version where you can have another card in front of you as well, and give you a bit more choice, be a bit more tactical. Have a display of cards as well in the middle of the table is the advanced version, rather than just drawing more cards randomly from the deck. But yeah, it's all about when you're the active player rolling to try and make sure you fill things that you need, but also as the game goes on, it's over as someone fills, I think it's just 4 cards. As soon as someone's filled their 4th card, you have to be kind of seeing, how many cards have they filled? Am I giving them the perfect roll to end the game with? And if so, have I got enough points to manage that? Because, the longer lines will reward you with more points. A card's completed as soon as you've done 3 of the lines on it. But there's also lines on the card that have stars on them too. So you want to complete those the most because the stars will give you extra points. But if you are lucky, of course, it's a dice game, and have made some good choices in the game, you can potentially complete the entire card. If you can complete it all at the same time you manage to complete 3 lines, you get all the possible points of that card as well. So it's also about how far can I push my luck by just trying to fill this thing up, or am I best off just doing a few lines and just trying to rattle through these cards? Will that have given me enough points? It's another fantastic roll and write game. I slapped the table, it's so good. And that's not it, is it? Because, no, we have Switch and Signal, a game I was very keen to play. I think it came out around Digital Essen last year. This is from David Thompson, who is now, hugely acclaimed for War Chest and the Undaunted games. The Undaunted series, which I haven't played. We don't really like fighting each other. But yeah, I hear they are fantastic. But this is an older design, I believe. This is from 4 or so years ago that got self-published. This has now been taken on by Cosmos. This is a cooperative game where we are trying to control trains, basically. We have a map that is just a great big grid of cities. If I'll be in the way of a photo showing this off. But we have a map. Oh, this is from Tabletopia. You can play it on there. We have a map that's just a great big grid of rails that connects some cities. So the coloured blobs are cities that have cubes of that colour in there. And we want trains to try and go to those cities and then go to the port. You can see this is the Europe side. See Marseille at the bottom there is the port that wants all of the goods. So we want to try and get trains from these starting numbers all the way around the map. It's random, although there's a variant where you can play it without. We've played it the normal way so far. You can have trains appear on these starting numbers, and then there are cards you draw at the start of your turn that tell you, do you put more trains out? And then all trains of certain colours, sometimes you get a choice, but often you're just told all of the black trains move. They have different speeds. Black are the fastest, red are medium, grey are the slower ones. And you roll a die. That's how they're faster and slower. Like the numbers are different on the dice. So you have to make sure they have somewhere to move to, or you lose time tokens. You lose too many time tokens, you lose those instruction cards, and if you run out of those, you lose the game. It's all about us playing cards and controlling, as you might know from the name of the game, the switches and the signals. We can also move trains with our cards, but the black discs there are switches. You can change around the discs in the switches to show you where a train is going to go. You've got to have a route kind of planned already. You don't want a train about to crash into another one. It won't do that. It'll just stop, and if it wastes movement, you lose time tokens. And if it can't go because it's just blocked off by a switch, it will wait there and you will lose time. Also, the signals. There are signals through a lot of the tracks, just right down the middle of certain paths. If you've sent trains down there, you need to make sure they're green. But also in cities as well, there's only one city, but there's only one signal in each city by default. So you can bring them from somewhere else, but that means that rail hasn't got a signal in it anymore. And you have to make sure they're in the right entrances too. We played this weekend, actually. We've just played it once, but it's blown away by such a simple system. And it's a lighter game as well. But it's such a lovely, elegant system. And even with random elements of where the trains are going to spawn and how much they move, I feel like you have enough kind of forewarning of a lot of the stuff that's in there that it was a blast kind of working out where our trains were going to go, how to push our luck best. Do we wait for movement from the instruction cards, or do we need to force these trains to move? Where are they going to go next? How can we stop them from crashing into each other? Really, really, really enjoyed it. That's Switch and Signal. And finally, I believe, Lunarchitects. You might have seen these already if you saw that mystery live unboxing thing that I did earlier in the month. But yeah, at the time, 2016, Lunarchitects was probably on Kickstarter the year before. I loved Glenmore, and Lunarchitects kind of is inspired by, uses some of the systems of Glenmore. Of course, Glenmore has now got its great big Glenmore 2 re-implementation with tons of extra stuff in there. But it's the fundamental thing of getting tiles, placing them down, activating them by surrounding them with other tiles. But this does it rather than with squares, with hexes. So there's a lot more opportunity for rearrangement, for maneuvering all of these things. And I remember it added, variable endgame scoring and stuff that Glenmore didn't have at the time. And yeah, I really, really wanted it. Never managed to get a copy. Got about it, and then a copy came up for sale. And I thought, right, is this Lunarchitects time to shine? I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But yeah, I'm keen to find out. Is this still a distinct entry into the time track tile laying genre? Okay, that sentence fell apart. But or has with all of the extra things of Glenmore 2, is that enough? I'm looking forward to finding out. I haven't got something that kind of switches back now. I suppose we can have all of me. All of the room, the multicolored drawers and stuff. So that is hopefully May. Some of those are going to get playthroughs. There are going to be more live things. There's going to be a vote for a top 10. There's going to be some great stuff, I hope. I hope you will be looking forward to some of this. I hope you will join me for some of the live things. And you can always watch them back afterwards if you can't. I'll mention Patreon again. It'll be linked in the description, though. You can click the link there if you'd like to see how you can help me out on there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for some of these games. Bye, everyone.